Well, hi, food friends. Welcome to Cavalcade of Food, and it's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. I'm Ralph behind the camera.
I
understand we have a special request edition today.
Yes, we do. Do you know that we had a number of our friends from YouTube and Cavalcade of Food,
the food blog,
our food blog, request a chocolate pie? And you know what? That's something that I didn't really have a recipe for, but one of our YouTube friends, Adam from Tennessee, to the rescue. Adam sent me his recipe for chocolate pie, Ralph, and this was his mother's recipe, who got it many years ago from
her friend Nadine.
Nadine, who was a neighbor.
Yeah, neighbor
so,
Nadine.
Adam, thank you. We are making your recipe your recipe via your mother and Nadine of chocolate pie.
So it's kind of a southern treat.
Yeah, so it's sort of southern, and this chocolate pie has a meringue. Now up here in Michigan, most of our chocolate pies have a whipped cream topping. We call them chocolate cream pies, but we'll get to the meringue later. Right now we got to start on the crust. This is a single crust pie, and you know what? I'm not making the crust. We've done plenty of crusts on Cavalcade, haven't we?
Yes, we have. So you're doing a very little shortcut step saver.
Yeah, the Doughboy made this one, and Poppin' Fresh. Anyways, so you know what? I'm going to unroll this.
So those you buy frozen, and then you just kind of
refrigerated.
Refrigerated, okay.
Mm-hmm. They freeze well, though. So I'm going to take a pie plate here, and how's this for easy, huh? So a lot of people like to make their own crusts, and I totally respect that. And we make our own crusts, but you know what? Today there just isn't the time today. Too many other things to do. So I'm using a refrigerated pre-made crust, and even my mother, who was a great baker, you know what? When she tried these crusts, she stopped making her own.
Oh, okay.
So
you just kind of tighten it along the edge of the, what is that called, crimping or crimping?
Yeah, crimping. Crimping is, in front of the mirror. Yeah. This is crimping.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go around the edge like this. That just sort of gives it a little bit of a neater look.
And I understand this is one of those recipes where the pie shell is baked first.
Yes.
Okay,
So we're going to bake this pie shell first, and then we're going to put the filling inside the pre-baked shell.
How nice that looks, the way he just did that with his fingers.
So
the artist in you.
Now I'm going to take just a fork here. This is really an important step.
Oh, okay.
We've got to poke some air holes, because what will happen, Ralph, is when this thing bakes, and we're putting it in the oven at about 450 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes.
And if you don't aerate it, it'll
puff up.
It reminds me of when we were little, we'd catch bees and put them in a jar and put holes in the top and then take them to the grocery store and let them out.
Really? Little mischievous kids you were. Okay, so here we go. So here's our crust. We're going to put it
right into the Westinghouse.
Yeah, into the Westinghouse.
Into the Westinghouse she goes.
So we'll give it about 12 to 15 minutes. We'll kind of keep an eye on it, and then we'll take it out and let it cool. Then we'll start making our filling. So the timer went off. I gave it a couple extra minutes. It's been about 13, 14 minutes. See that? That looked nice?
Yeah, I like the kind of brown toastiness of it.
So we're going to just set that aside, because we really do want that crust to cool completely. And I've turned the oven down to 375 degrees. This is lunch. 375 degrees. Hey, we have to eat.
Yeah.
And I will keep it at that temperature for the meringue.
Say that again.
I've turned the oven down to 370. It was at 450 to bake the crust. Now we've turned it down to 375. Okay, and that's going to be for the meringue.
So what's the next step of this chocolate
pie? The next step is, now we're going to start working on the filling. So I had 4 eggs, and I've separated them. egg whites,
Because they were fighting.
and egg yolks, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm going to take this. Now, some people do make this in a double boiler, the filling, and you could do that.
Takes longer, though.
It takes longer, and you have to be careful with the heat, but I'm going to make it directly in a pan. Okay, so we're going to start on medium heat, and I've got 4 egg yolks here, giving them a little beating, and I've got 2 cups of milk. Now, I suggest using whole milk or at least 2%. Okay, don't use skim milk for this recipe, please. You need the fat. Okay, so 2 cups of milk, 4 egg yolks. I've got 5 tablespoons of cocoa here. Put that in there. And I've got 4 heaping tablespoons of cornstarch.
That's what thickens it, right?
Yep, that's going to thicken it.
So this cocoa you talked about, is that like a baking cocoa, or is the kind of cocoa you make a hot cocoa chocolate
Well, you
with?
can make it with that. It's just your regular cocoa, powdered cocoa, unsweetened, natural.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then here is our sweetener. This is
That looks like your bowl of cereal this morning. No, just kidding.
cup and a half of sugar.
That's a lot. I mean,
Okay.
it looks like a lot, but
Cup and a half of sugar.
that's what you need to make the chocolate work.
Right. Then salt. Just
Pinch.
a pinch. So I'm going to put in a pinch of salt. That'll help brighten the chocolate up a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of Spanish and Mexican cooking, they discovered long ago that a little salt really intensifies the chocolate experience.
So
Brings it out.
now, the key to this is your constant stirring, okay? Because what will happen is you've got your fat in there from the milk and the eggs, and then you've got your cornstarch. You want to dissolve the sugar, and again, we're doing this over medium heat. We want it to heat gradually, because if you put it instantly on a high heat, you might cook the eggs, which you don't want to do. So as this approaches a boil, it will start to thicken up. All right? So I'm just going to stand right here at the stove and keep stirring as our chocolate filling comes to a gradual heat.
Thickness.
And then you'll see, okay, it's really loose right now. So we'll come back and you'll see that this thing will start tightening up and all right. I don't know if you can you get in there, Ralph? See what's happening? All right, I'm going to turn this heat down here a little bit.
So that really does thicken up after
Oh, yes,
a bit.
it does. This is really, you know what? If you were making pudding from scratch, look at it now.
Almost looks like fudge. But it's closer to like a pudding consistency.
This is exactly, all right.
So it's important to turn the heat down or off.
Well, again, we brought it up over medium heat. I'm using
Yeah, I was going to ask you, it looks like a skillet. I mean,
it's a
cast
pot.
iron.
It's a actually hard anodized.
Yeah.
And it's non-stick.
But it's an unusual pan. It seems like a good pan.
It is. It's a good pan, and it's great for stuff like this. So okay, see how we're nice and look at that. Isn't that nice?
It sure is.
Lick that.
That looks like a good consistency for this chocolate pie.
So, okay, so here's our filling. Okay, now that it's warm.
Oh, I see butter.
Yes, that's right. So I got 4 tablespoons of butter here. In they go. And we're going to take some vanilla.
Like a splash or so?
Well, actually, I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons.
Oh, good. I love vanilla.
Well, it goes great with chocolate, of course. You can't have chocolate without
It kind of also, like with that salt thing, it kind of enhances
vanilla.
it.
So, now what we're going to do is we're going to stir all this in until that butter completely melts. And the
heat's doing that.
Yeah, and the butter gives it a richness and a silkiness. So
Keeps it nice and smooth. I
Yeah.
wonder if this is also maybe how they make French silk pie.
it might be. I've never made a French silk pie. Maybe somebody knows, but I'm just going to keep stirring this until the butter's all incorporated. Okay, and then we're going to listen to. Oh, I'm so glad you put on Patsy Cline.
Yeah, we love our Patsy Cline, but also because it's a Southern style
Southern
recipe from our friend Adam, we thought this would be appropriate music.
So, okay, we're gonna The butter's almost melted. I'll finish stirring that butter in, and then we'll start our next step with our chocolate pie.
Kitchen sure smells chocolatey right now.
Oh, here's our chocolate filling. Butter all melted in. Okay. Vanilla all incorporated. Now we've got our pie shell. It's cooled. We're just going to take our filling here.
And just plop it right in.
Just plop it right in is right. Okay. So
no tricks to this. Just want to make sure you get it all sort of plopped in there and centered.
Yeah, a spatula is a good tool here.
And it'll kind of, gravity will probably, oh, I guess you do. I was going to say.
You have to spread it out.
Spread it a bit, okay. Does it remind you of being a child making a mud pie?
Mud pie, yeah. So, okay. So here's
You can see how it's kind of thickened up, where you can actually kind of almost mold it.
Yeah. And it continues to sort of stabilize as it cools off. Okay, so we want to.
I bet it would be good to eat it warm.
Yes. So there it is. Okay. And.
Here's my finger.
Okay. It's good.
That is good.
All right. So remember, we had 4 eggs. Here are the egg yolks went into the filling. The egg whites are right here.
For the meringue, the topping.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with our 4 egg whites. Let me put in a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. That's a stabilizer. Then what we're going to do is as this starts to whip, I've got 5 tablespoons of sugar right here. We're going to put that in.
And is that it?
That's it.
Wow.
That's your meringue.
Pretty basic.
Okay. So now we just let the mixer do its thing, and we'll come back when this is beaten into what I like semi-stiff peaks.
So
okay.
We'll beat that into submission.
That's right.
And then we'll put it on top, and it seems like a pretty basic,
and then it goes
recipe.
back in the oven.
Right. Okay, so this is Adam's Southern style chocolate pie recipe by request via his mom and her friend Nadine from Tennessee.
All right.
Is it all whipped the way you think it should be?
Yeah. You see that peak?
Oh, yeah. So that's
see how it holds that peak?
That's the thickness or stiffness that you're looking for.
So here's our our egg whites. Now let me get another spatula, and so what we're going to do with our meringue is that goes right here on top.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that looks like a lot.
It looks like a lot, yes.
But it's going to kind of go down a bit.
We're going to...
Oh, this looks like fun. This looks like the fun part.
Now you want to take your meringue all the way to the edge, see? All the way to the edge of that crust.
But not too thick. I mean, you want to have it touch, but not be... The thickest part probably in the middle, am I right? Or...
Well, yeah, if you want to kind of mound it that way. But we want to seal the pie, so we want to make sure that the meringue is hasn't completely enclosed our filling.
So that's an important first step.
Okay.
And then I have a feeling you're going to get artistic on us.
Well, let's get our meringue sort of mounded how we like. Okay. Always trying to get as much as we can here. All right, now I'm going to get a teaspoon, and what I like to do is I like to put some swirls in the meringue.
So starting from the outside in?
Yes, I start from the outer perimeter, and I just kind of go in a circular motion around, and then you kind of work in
to the next layer or next level, and that creates those little peaks.
And little peaks and little swirls. And what happened, the heat as the meringue bakes will catch these little peaks, these little swirls.
And it kind of browns it a touch?
Yeah, makes it pretty. We like it pretty.
Yes. Pretty southern chocolate pudding pie.
Okay. So there we go. All right, now we're going to put that back in the oven. Again, the oven's now at 375. It'll take about, we got a pasty for lunch. Let me take that out. It'll probably take about 15 minutes or so. We'll
Bye
keep
for
an eye
now.
on it.
Bye for now, pie. We'll see you real soon.
Yeah. All right, we'll take it out. So we're almost done. It's been about 11 minutes or so, and here it is.
Time for the big reveal.
Yeah.
Whoa. Kevin, that almost looks professional.
Well, there it is.
Oh, it's great.
Chocolate pie.
So I guess we have to let it warm before we can eat it.
Yes, it has to cool, and it's going to take a while, so that's okay. We'll have it for dinner, or after dinner, I guess. We're not going to have it for dinner. We're not that bad.
We're not that bad, but when I said warm, I should have said cool down, but yeah, you knew what I meant.
Yep. So, yeah, she's pretty. So, that's it.
We have to thank Adam.
To thank Adam, his mom, and Nadine. So wherever you are, thank you very much for the recipe. It came out beautiful. And for those of you who have been wanting a chocolate pie, here it is. So thanks a lot. We appreciate you being a part of this one. We had fun. Hope you did too. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching us on Cavalcade of Food.
Bye.
Bye now.
Okay, now we are cutting into our chocolate pie.
Doesn't that look good?
And I'm gonna get under it here. Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
The topping, the meringue, is almost as thick as the
filling.
The filling. Take a bite, Kevin. Let us know how it is.
So, yeah, I have a spoon. Yeah, doesn't that look pretty?
Oh, yes. Is it good?
Very chocolatey, creamy, delicious. Very good. Excellent.
Make it
There
for
it
your
is.
own friends.
That's right. It'll be a big hit. Chocolate pie.
Southern style.
Southern style.
Thank you to Adam and his mother and Nadine for watching and for coming up with this
Great
recipe
recipe
for our by request episode of Cavalcade of Food.